I was just thinking back to when, what was it, like 3 weeks ago,
She had that
her spelling test, and she got a 7 out of 10. And I remember my reaction because she always brings home 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. The only thing that's a little that she gets more docked in points is like her sentences, because she's learning how to write like complete sentences and stuff. So that's kind of like what I expect a little bit. But on the spelling test, she brought home a 7 out of 10. And I just remember thinking like, what is this? And the look on her face, like she looked at me
But
because
I'm
she
okay with
knew.
that though.
I
I'm okay
know
with that.
part of me is
No,
okay with
I'm
it, and
okay
part
with
of
that.
me is like,
When it comes to
damn, am I
school,
putting too much pressure on her?
no,
Because my
you're not.
sister's friend, hold on, my sister's friend was over, and the test was left out on the table, right? And she was like, "Oh, this is Phoenix's spelling test," and she was like, "Oh, this is good. She got a 7 out of 10." And immediately I was like, "That is not a good spelling test." Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Life After I Do podcast. I'm your host Nisha G. I'm here with my husband
Molito.
Molito. How's everybody out there?
Molito.
Goodness gracious. Hey Molito. Hey babe.
Hey, Bo.
How's it going?
I'm cool, boo. I'm Gucci, baby.
How was your week?
It was a week of longing to be with my wife. I went
What?
to a area every day, and I said I would just rather be with my wife.
Are you able to talk about it?
I am now, but I'm not
Okay.
going to talk about it.
No, I'm just saying like where you were this week or the past month.
Well,
or
yeah. I
so.
mean, I've been on jury duty.
He's been on jury duty for like the past month. So
and it's been exhausting.
he's been having to get dressed every day
The worst.
because he normally wears a uniform to work, and now you see how
I don't know how people do it.
yeah getting
And then
dressed every day
dealing with like,
people.
I equate this to be like in an office setting, and I was like,
Yeah.
I could not do it. I would be in there. I'd be in that office choking people out. I literally told a federal juror that I said the one juror that we were having issue with, I said, had she been a man,
Bye.
we would have just been fighting.
Goodbye.
The marshals would have pulled us off.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Yeah, it was a unique experience. It was
That was the first time you actually like got summoned to go in and
yeah.
be selected.
I always get dismissed. So
Yeah.
it was like
You thought this was gonna be business as
right.
usual.
I didn't think I'd be stuck here or stuck there, but it was a unique experience. I met a lot of cool people.
He met new friends, y'all.
I met a lot.
He been going out with his new friends to lunch like almost every day. And I'm like, I'm real happy for you, but I don't know these people. So, like
jealous much?
no, it's not a jealousy thing. I think it's a protection thing. Like we've said before, you like to protect me. I also like to protect you, right? So I still want to know the people that my husband is hanging around, especially when he's choosing to like spend his free time with them. I want to know the people that you're hanging around. Like I'm really, to be honest,
here.
sorry to cut you off, but I'm really, really happy that
Look
you have
here.
found a new friend.
Look here. I don't protect you from other moms you be hanging out with every day.
Goodbye. You've met them though.
Not all of them.
Most of them you have.
I will say my favorite moms, I don't know if they listen, but I guess they'll know anyway.
Is it dance moms or gym moms?
No. My favorite
Okay.
D Nice is my favorite mom.
Oh, that's our daughter's best friend's mother.
D Nice is
we call her D Nice.
D Nice is the favorite. And then, it'll probably go to her Ed. But Angel is my second.
Gosh.
Angel is funny. I like her. I love her mannerisms. She's hilarious.
And you know what's funny? I think what's really funny is that as we've gotten older in life, outside of like your recent new friends that you just found,
oh, they're the best.
Most of the friends that I have acquired through adulthood have come because of my children. or because of
Right.
my child, because it's like my
It's
child has formed a relationship with a
yeah.
child, and it kind of forces the parents to interact.
It's
And
all
so
it's all circumstance.
yeah, it's all like
Yeah.
circumstance, but I was gonna say, like, for me it's Angel too. Like Angel and her husband Anthony, like I absolutely love them. It's never a dull time when we hang out. Like I find myself reaching out to them, like, oh, what are you guys doing this
That's how
weekend?
you know it's
That's how
different.
you know it's different.
Right.
Like,
Because I will say this, I don't reach out to many people.
right.
So if I'm texting you,
It's because I really want to hang out.
I fucks with you.
Right. Like I send her messages, like we send each other messages and stuff, or reply on each other's social media and stuff. And I'll send her a text and be like, "Hey, do you think the kids would like this?" And then like the other day I sent her a text. I was like, "You think the kids would want to go here?" And by kids, I mean us adults. And then she was like, "Yeah, the kids would love it. I mean, we would love it." I was like, "Yeah, see, that's
Yeah.
the type of energy that I need.
Yeah.
That's the energy from the
It's
parents
just
that
like
I need."
like another like, uh one of my favorite people from Jersey, like you said, he's like, it was refreshing talking to other intelligent creatures,
I
or
think it's the
not
mental
creatures, but like
stimuli.
other intelligent people, because when your daily life is just kids and work, it's like to have adult conversation outside of the rim of work and the parenting construct. It was refreshing just to, you know, get in a group of
And
people
get in a different
from different
conversation.
walks of life,
Yeah.
different different professions, and learn um
About what they
about what
do.
they do and
Yeah.
find things interesting. So it would to me it was great. It was refreshing. It was
You want more of it.
you're right,
That's how it is.
because the
Yeah.
conversation was different
And you can go
from
on and on and on. That's what I love the most, is like the conversation never stops. Like that's how I
right,
am when we're talking to Angel. It's like we always find something
right,
to talk about, and then we always find things that we have in common, or
right.
even the things that we don't have in common. We're both mature enough to understand, like, okay, well, that's your point of view of something.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved, like, when we were at their house, what was it, the week before last, and you guys were having like the whole political debate,
Oh yeah.
and it was getting like really heated. But see, she's the type, when it started to
She
calm
was
down.
trying to start shit.
But that's what she told me. She told me,
Right.
she was like, she said, "Oh no, seems like the fire is going out." She was like, "Give me a second." So she would go and like instigate their conversation to keep the men riled up, because all the men were in the living room, and they were like having the debate, the political debate with the war and everything that's going on, and trying to see different sides of each person's grievance, or each country's grievance. And I mean, and they were going at it.
I
Like
will
they
say
were
this.
going at it. And she was
Let me
like,
say
"Oh no,
this.
it's dying down. Let me put a little fuel to
Let
the
me say
fire."
this. Let me say this. Angel is my favorite, but I feel for Anthony because he has to deal with Angel.
Why? He loves her
He
unconditionally.
has to deal with her. So I feel for him. Uh I'm not Anthony's a great person too. And and my opinion in the interactions
I
I've had
just
with
love
him,
them.
he's a great person as
Love
well.
them.
Um and yeah, but Angel is like
I love it.
yeah.
She was
Be
like,
nice
she
and
was
then
like, hold
be
on,
nice
let
to
me
Angel.
just add a little fuel really quick to the fire. I was like, "You are too much." She was like, "Watch," and she would go, "Watch this, watch how I get my dad riled up." And she would say something to her dad, and he would just start going. I was like, "These are my people. These are my people right here. I love them." But
Because it
yeah.
was a conversation. Had it happened with other people in the room,
Oh
it
my
would have been a
gosh.
fight. He
Like
would have
I know a certain set of friends, if we would have had that conversation, it would have ended with somebody storming off, somebody
somebody
leaving,
getting
somebody
cussed
getting
out.
yeah, it just, so like when I say that that is so refreshing, that
Yeah,
we can have like the playful banter, but we can have serious conversations
yeah.
and still be friends afterwards, that's exactly what I look for. That's exactly what I need. But it's interesting that you had said, like, it's just refreshing to have different types of conversations with different
Yeah.
people. And I think that's what's really important. That's why it's important for us to get out and mingle, and it's important for us to step outside of the roles of being fathers and mothers, and the whole parental thing. And I mean, just engaging in different like atmospheres, like going out to different places. Like, you tried a new place yesterday for lunch too, right?
Yeah, we went to Korean barbecue.
Yeah, like that's
Hold on, let me tell y'all this. My wife has been salty
salty.
because me and my friends from Jury, dude, we've been living it up.
Been salty about it though.
We've been hitting for lunch. We've been going out for
Wait a
lunch.
minute, hold on.
You've been a little
Yeah.
salty. You've been a little salty.
salty.
You've been a little
I
salty.
just told you how I love that for you.
Yeah, but you're like, I wish you would have came home.
Oh, you're
But I
talking about
understand.
yesterday in particular. Because yesterday I had a really, really bad headache, like a really bad
She should
headache.
have said something.
And so, but the thing is I didn't want to spoil your fun just for you to come home and
I
coddle
would have came
me.
home.
I know, but I didn't want to. So, like, it's funny that you say, like, you know me, like, I just really took offense to that because it's like you say that I was salty, but I'm sitting here telling you that
But
I
that's not the
purposely,
first time. That's not the.
hold
That's not
on, I purposely did not tell you that I was like feeling so bad that I would wanted you to have to
because you
come
know I would have
home.
came straight home.
I know, and I know that, and that's why I was like, no, he wants to hang out with his friends. They're going to lunch. He's enjoying this time. I want him to have his time. So the fact that you're like, oh, I'm feeling salty about it. How am I feeling salty? Because I could have done what you normally do.
Bring you
I could have
outside.
no, I could have done what you normally do. I could have tried to put you in a situation of like choosing and then be resentful for it. Like,
I don't do
because you
that.
would have, yes, you do.
Okay.
You would have been like, well, I didn't feel good, so, and I know she's gonna be home soon. Like, well, I guess if you want to go out, but I don't feel
But I would.
like you would have,
I
you
would have
would have
chose you.
put the guilt trip on me so
I
fast,
don't put. I don't. I
so
don't.
fast.
I don't guilt you. I lay all the facts out and let you make a
No,
decision.
no. Yeah, and then when I don't if I don't choose like you as the decision,
Because
then
I
you
always choose you.
yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Um.
no.
Anyway. So
Uh-huh.
we've been taking lunch once or twice a week as a group and stuff like that. And it's been nice because I've found some new places. I've been to one place has not missed.
Arts.
Has not missed. Drinks is good, food is good, has not missed. It smells like the 60s when you walk in there, but once you get over that fact, once you get over that fact, it has not missed.
Why does it smell like the
It's
60s?
like they ain't changed the decor in that place.
And you know why? They said if it ain't broke, don't fix
And
it.
it's my type of bar because it's all old people.
People come here for the nostalgia.
I think I was the youngest person. No, there was a juror younger than me. She was the youngest person in the whole bar.
I mean, something's worked for them. How long have they been there?
Since like the 40s, I believe.
Yeah, so something's worked. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I always say.
Hit for hit.
Now, well, it sounds like you had a really good week, babe.
Yeah, it's over. I can talk about it, so you can stop stressing me about it.
Oh my gosh, I was not stressing you about it. Don't. Why do you? I swear, as soon as we start recording, he turns into just like a different person.
I
Like,
don't
what
know
are you
about.
talking about?
I don't know.
Have I really been bugging you about the case? I have
The
not been
first
bugging
the
you
first couple weeks you were.
because you can't say anything.
The first couple weeks you was like, tell me about it. What's
And he
going
was
on?
like, and I will have you know, US, that he was very adamant. I mean, he upheld his civil duty to the letter. He
First of
didn't
all,
say
I
nothing.
was
He didn't mention nothing.
I was
He
I
was
was
tight-lipped.
I was terrified of the judge. She just had that she had that motherly face where like if when she's mad, like the wrath is coming. She
You
had
better brace yourself.
she had that look because she had a very defined jawline. She was a gorgeous woman. She was gorgeous,
But you knew not to play with her.
but at the same deadly, gorgeous and deadly.
She could potentially have a chocolate right there. And as soon as you get out of place,
Wasn't even a chonka. She would have had something else.
she would have chucked it at you. But no, you did really good. You didn't mention anything about the case. You followed the law to the letter. Okay? And I'm really proud of you because my husband can't
Can't
hold
hold
water.
water. What tell? If I
My husband cannot keep a secret
hold on, that's not
to
true.
save his
That's not
life.
true. I can keep a secret.
Uh-huh.
Just know that I'm gonna tell my wife. And since she can't testify against me, I ain't told
It
nobody.
doesn't leave here. It is. Well, so I guess in that case, it's kind of like people like will tell you a secret, but then you're like, I gotta drop this secret off somewhere. Oh yeah, I'm married. I can just drop it off right here,
Right
and it's
there.
not gonna go
Boom.
anywhere. And then you leave me in situations where I gotta act like I don't know something.
So if you tell me something, you better be in the business of protecting my marriage because if we split, my wife know everything.
I'm gonna air it out.
You're gonna look bad. I'm gonna look fine.
No, no, you're gonna look bad because they're gonna be like, dude, you told your wife everything.
But I tell you, yeah. Who else I'm gonna talk to?
They're gonna be like, you could have told it to your therapist.
She gonna go tell her
You
husband.
can't. Okay, now that just makes me wonder. Okay, so I know that there's client like privileges, like patient privileges, but I do wonder sometimes, and I'm sure it has to happen, that therapists confide in their significant others, their spouses. I mean, they probably don't do it like on a detail basis, like where they give details about like patient name and stuff like that, but
Possibly.
I'm quite sure that at laying in bed at night, they pull one of those. Let me tell you what this motherfucker came in and told me today. You would not believe what he said today. Well, that was a good week, babe. You had a good week. I had a pretty decent week. Your daughter tried to play my life
When does she not?
multiple times.
When does she not?
Um, we've been going through a little. I don't even know what to
We'll
call
call
it.
it adjustment period.
Yeah, you know what? And that's exactly what it is. It's an adjustment period. And I know that she's getting older because we went through this like in different stages. Like when she turned 2, she had like this whole little attitude kind of changed. And when she turned 4, she had another little change. When she turned 6, she had another little change. Now we're going into 7, and it's just like the I don't know what to call it. It's like her mental awareness, her character and personality. It's like everything is coming out at one time. It's like clashing. And it kind of shows itself in her just like she I don't know how to explain it. Like she's focused in other settings, and other settings she has to like really concentrate on whatever it is like she's doing. You know what I mean? And she can get very sidetracked easily. And I think for me as a parent, it I try to be mindful that, she'll be 7 this year, but I try to be mindful that she is 6.
That's crazy.
Like I try to be mindful that she's 6. She's not 10.
You
She's not
said
12. She's not 13. So for me to expect certain levels of maturity out of her, I think is unfair. And then sometimes I like parent according to that, and then when I bring that to her attention like in a way where I'm either upset or she can visibly see that I'm upset or something, and she kind of like takes that in and internalizes it, and then when she gets where she's like I call it like her trying to quote unquote behave, where she gets like quiet or whatever, then it makes me feel bad because it's like part of me feels like I shut down some of her joy
yeah.
just because either her behavior wasn't convenient for me, or because I felt like she was being too excited or too hyper or something, and now it's like she's trying to make herself small because she thinks that's what's going to please me, because now she's like not jumping or
That's
not,
what I worry about. Like
and I don't want to kill her joy. I don't want to
we don't
kill
want to
that
kill her
personality.
joy, but like that people pleaser part of her personality, I really dislike.
Right. And so,
Really
but the
dislike.
thing is, the thing about it is, for me anyway, I look at what am I doing as far as the interactions and conversations that I'm having with her that is quote unquote like trying like developing that part of her. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So that's why I say I really do, when I'm frustrated, when I'm angry or anything, because now she'll say things like, "Oh, mom, are you frustrated?" Like she'll say that. And it's like your my emotions are not your responsibility. I'm the parent, right? Like I have to, in order to teach you how to emotionally regulate yourself, you also have to see me emotionally regulate myself, right? So
Mhm.
when I'm upset and everything, I don't want to like show her like, oh yeah, it's your behavior that's pissing me off, or it's your behavior that's making me feel like this. You know what I'm saying? But it's more so just me making her aware of the things that she is doing,
Mhm.
but not trying to, and I say this like the guilt trip.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to play that threatening game with her, like, oh, this is going to happen if you don't do, like, I don't want to do those things with her. I
Mhm.
would rather for it to be something that she learns in that way. You know what I'm saying? And then we can have the conversation about it, because it's like we always tell her and try to explain to her all your actions have consequences, right? Everything has a consequence. you do something that you're not supposed to do, that there's going to be a consequence, and you don't like that consequence, right? So instead of me constantly trying to like prevent it from happening, where it shows up as me constantly talking at her and saying like, you can't do this, don't do this, this is going to happen if you do this, like, it's almost like you just need to step back a little bit. Like, I've already explained to you one time why you shouldn't do this, and if you still choose to do it, go ahead and do it, because when you do, you're going to understand why mommy was trying to explain to you why that wasn't a good idea,
Life
or
lessons.
life lessons, right? Um and then that just kind of takes me into like what I was talking to you about upstairs. I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about us basically like overcompensating for our kids, right? And I think we get so hung up on trying to give our children experiences that we didn't have as kids, or trying to curve the pain points of what our childhood was, and we don't want our kids to have to experience that, whether it be like a hardship or whether it be growing up with less. It's like we get so hell-bent on, my kids are not going to experience that, like,
Right.
you know what I
And
mean?
I was thinking about that, and it's like I think as parents, it's hard for us to realize and understand that the painful moments in our childhood is what shaped us, and it's what build, part of our character.
Hmm.
And when I think about the conversation we were having, it's almost as if I felt like we are limiting her chances to build her character,
Right, because we're removing those
because
hardships, we're trying to remove as many as
we're
possible
removing obstacles.
obstacles.
and
Hmm.
and when I think about it, in the long run, that really would be a disservice to her.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
she'll grow up dependent.
right, because she'll grow up dependent, and she's going to expect things to just always go her way
Hmm.
with very little resistance to things. And I think that's why I had that conversation with you well, not with you. That's why I had that conversation with her last night. Like, look, you're about to be 7. Mommy and daddy are no longer going to baby you. At this point, well, what we expect from you is what we expect, and we are going to hold you accountable for the things you're supposed to do in your actions.
Yeah,
And you're going to have to, from this point on, you're going to have to earn everything
those things.
that you want. I said, because, you know, granted, from birth to four, possibly 5, I have to give you more leeway because I understand you don't have full understanding. But
I mean, even now.
I believe at the age she is now, she can comprehend enough
Yeah.
to understand the basics of right and wrong, and what I should and what I shouldn't. Because the fact that she apologized immediately when you catch her doing something wrong, it lets me know that you knew, for even if you acted subconsciously at some point along the line, you knew what
That
you were
this was
doing.
something that you probably shouldn't have
Right.
been doing,
So it's
or you
like
should have asked to do.
so it's like now we're at the point in time where it's going to be where we're going to have to remove the leeway and the grace in order to initiate you fully comprehending the full grasp of the situation, and that it's not always going to be like, okay, well, just don't do it next time, Phoenix, just don't do it again, Phoenix.
Mhm.
No, it's like, no, we've had this conversation, you've continued to do it, now in this moment
You're gonna have to live through the
you got to
consequences.
live with the consequences,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and
Like
and
for instance, like last week when like last week when she threw her iPad, and we said, okay, well, you're done.
right, and you're done. We took it. It's like
You're done.
you're done. I told, and like because before that, because when I had took the iPad, I had told her it's my iPad,
Now, hold on,
and
let me
I
correct it.
allow you.
When we say threw her iPad, she didn't like
She didn't like
chuck
chuck
it.
it,
She just kind of like
but she
tossed
just
it to
like
the
tossed it
side
to the side.
because she
Yeah.
was done with it.
Yeah. But we've had conversations with her about that. Like, Phoenix, these things, they cost money. Like, mommy and daddy work very hard so that you can have these things. And it's like, I don't understand. I don't expect her to have the concept of like the monetary aspect of things, but she needs to also understand that these things don't come by necessarily so easily. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, she, in her mind, if she was to break her iPad, we just go to the store and get a new iPad.
Well,
That's like problem.
that's the issue.
That's
That's
literally the
that's
problem.
the issue with the mindset she had. She just assumes
Like, we could
that
just go get another
if
one.
something happens to something that I have, mommy and daddy would just
We'll
give me
just get
another
another
one.
one.
And so she has no value on the things that she owns. So like we were sitting back and forth discussing like how do we implement a value system so that she can understand that these things that you are taking for granted are things you should not take for
Right.
granted.
Not everybody else has the privilege to have the things that you have.
Right.
So like I was saying, I was listening to another podcast. And mind you, I've done this before. Like the box that's in
Mm.
her closet, I had to physically like go in her room and I would explain to her all that you choose not to pick up because coming into her room, she knows if you're playing with your toys before we go to bed, everything gets cleaned up.
Mhm.
We have a very like structured bedtime routine, right? You take your shower or your bath of your choosing. You have to clean up your room, say your prayers, she reads to me, then I read to her. Well, she didn't want to pick up her room. So I'm like, okay, so when you don't pick up your room and if you want to live in a dirty room, you're not appreciative of the fact that you even have a room
Mhm.
because we show gratitude through cleaning. Like I tell her that like we show gratitude through cleaning. Yes, you might have had a rough day and things got out of hand. Okay, that's fine. But when we have the time, like we do at night, we need to pick up our room, put our toys away, and then we go to bed. This one particular night, she just didn't feel like it. I did various approaches, like even helped her. She just was not in the mood. So I was like, okay, now I could do one of two things. I could let this one ride. This is one of those things where I'm not going to keep fighting against her because it only gets worse. We could just let this ride, or like I can just let her know, okay, mommy's gonna clean your room. But just so you know, when I clean the room, this box that I'm coming in with, I'm taking everything that's on the floor. And I went through her room and I took a cardboard, I got a box and I put all the toys in that box. And I let her know these are my toys now. And I get to choose what I do with these toys, whether it be they go in the trash, whether it be I put them in the garage. It doesn't matter. They're my toys now. And of course, she was like, oh no, like, no, no, no. I want my toys. I want my toys. If you want your toys, then you need to take care of them. You take care of them by putting them away at night as well, right?
Mhm.
So I was listening to another podcast and she was talking about like she literally had to go on like the mommy cleaning rampage with her 8-year old son because she walked into his room and his room was just like a bomb had went off. And it's not like we're not having the conversations about keeping your room clean, things like that, because even though it's just you keeping your room clean, it ties into other things in life.
Mhm.
That's the point that I'm trying to make. It's not just about cleaning your room, even though I know you're thinking it's just about cleaning your room, but it's not just about cleaning your room. These are life lessons. Like these are going to be
It's
things.
about learning to be
It's about
responsible.
learning to be
Right.
responsible. And like my biggest thing with her now that I keep telling her, I said, baby, sometimes we have to do the things we don't want to do to be able to do the things that we
Right.
want to do.
It's like I tell her all the time. I said, Daddy don't want to go to work,
Right. But there's consequences if daddy doesn't go to
but
work.
Daddy knows that he has to go to work so that we can enjoy the life that we have.
Right. You like to eat, don't you?
Right. So but it's almost to the point to where I feel like we're at the crossroads where we have to correct a lot of this behavior so that
Now.
so it's not detrimental to her down the
Yes,
road.
because try and that's what I try to express like when I have these conversations like even with my mom when she'll say like, "Oh, you don't think you're being too hard on her?" And it's like, "No, I really don't." Because trying to correct this type of behavior at 10 and 11 and 12 is going to be much harder than trying to correct it right now at 6 or 7 where I still have a little bit
Right.
of room psychologically with her and mentally with her before she really starts letting the other outside noise, the friends influence, the seeing how the world works around her. It's like trying to implement those things, even though if she's not doing them right now, I know that I'm planting a seed.
Right. And I think we did very, very well with the whole this year. It's like these are your sweaters.
Right.
When they're gone, they're
When
gone.
yep, that's it.
She's lost the same
She's been more mindful about that.
She's lost the same lunch pail twice.
Mhm.
We told her we're not buying
I'm
another
not
lunch
buying
pail.
another lunch pail.
She's lost her water bottle 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
We're not getting another water bottle.
But it's created the like when I pick her up from school, she'll say, "Oh no, like my water bottle." Like there's something in the brain that's like, okay, if you leave this water bottle again, your water. So it's like, I know I'm going to want my water for tomorrow. Oh, shoot, I left my water bottle. Mom, can I go get my water bottle? Yes. As before, it was like, okay, I left my water bottle. I know that I have like six of them at home. Or like, I know my mom's not going to send me to school without water. So it's like, I'm going to get it somehow. But when she got sent to school without water, it's like, babe, you just got to be more mindful. Like, I'm not expecting you to have the maturity of a 10-year-old, but I just need you also just to be a little bit more aware. And like I said, going back earlier, I do have to really, for myself as a parent, manage that because, again, psychologically she's not developed to have those certain, you know what I'm saying, like those certain mental notes. Like, she's 6, and there's certain things that she's not going to develop until she's 16, until she's 25. Like, and I have to be really mindful about that, about not trying to expect 10-year-old behavior from a 6-year-old.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
And I also had to take accountability for some of her actions because there was a long stretch in her life where when daddy got paid, Phoenix got a toy.
Yeah, we had to stop that.
It was automatic. And it was like, come on, let's go. Whatever you pick out, you can have.
But see, let's talk about that too, because I think that has a lot to do with us. I
Yes.
think that has to do with trying to heal that inner kid within yourself.
Most definitely.
And I think it also goes to, for lack of better verbiage, some parents feel the flex of being able to give their kids whatever they want,
Mhm.
right? It's like a booster for the parent. It's like, yeah, we're gonna walk into the store, and it's like, yeah, you want that? Because I got it. So I want you to feel what I wish I would have felt
Right.
when I was your age walking into the store. When we walked into the store, I wanted to be able to be like, "Oh, mom, this is cool. Can I get it?" But I was always told no because there was a budget, or because like mom didn't see that it was necessary to spend money on. So when we go into the store, it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna do my kids like that.
Right.
You want them shoes? We getting them shoes because guess what? We can
Yeah.
afford them.
And
So we're gonna get them.
you're 100% right. There's been so many times where we've walked in uh, a store or whatever the case may be with the full intention on just getting something for us because we need
Hmm.
this or that.
Hmm.
And then we'll walk out and have everything for her and we'll have nothing.
Right. Right.
And it was like we are perpetuating this attitude and this behavior that she's demonstrating by showing her that yeah, whatever you point to, daddy's going to get, mommy's going to get. And that's why
Right.
she always says, well, no, daddy and mommy, you guys have money,
Hmm.
you can get it for me, you have money,
Hmm.
I like it. It's always like, I never had this before,
Hmm.
I never got that before.
That's her
can i
favorite line.
can I
I've
have
never
this?
had this
Can
before.
I have this? Can I get that? And it's like we had to literally stop.
Just reel it in
Just
a little bit.
we were it got to the point where I stepped back. I'm the one.
You're the problem.
I'm the problem. I'm creating the monster.
I'm the problem.
And I used to justify it by saying, well, I'm gonna make whoever she deals with in the future make them have to work for it.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it. I was like, no, I'm literally creating a shitty human being. I'm
I
literally
wouldn't say a shitty human
I'm
being, but I'm saying a human being who would probably have characteristics that you wouldn't like. Because
I'm the mad scientist
right.
creating the monster that no one wants to
I
be
think what
friends
I
with.
think what I always think about is, I think about it so often, is Phoenix at 16. Right? Some of the things that parents do, especially when our kids are this small, it's like it's cute. And we want them to have this and we want them to do this, but you forget like that kid is going to be a teenager, and that kid is going to be a young adult, and then that kid is going to be an adult, and those same things that you thought were cute at 6 is not going to be
Not
cute at
gonna be cute at
16.
all.
It's not going to be cute. And then you're going to be trying to tell her about herself. Then you're going to be trying to redirect it and show her a different way. And by that time, the world has already influenced her too. And she's already developed her ideas around things. And it's like, it's going to be too late for that. You
Right.
know what I mean?
And it's
And then
so
trying to tell them no
right.
after you've told them yes 80% of their
Right.
life.
Because it's so much harder to correct behavior the older they become.
Absolutely.
Because at that point now you're trying to break habit. It comes down to
Hmm.
breaking habit.
Hmm.
And just me personally, with me trying to, be healthier, I'm still fighting habits that I've created
Yep.
over the sum of my lifetime.
Because you know that also impacts your child's life.
Right.
Like that also impacts her too. And I think, like, being just like with my own therapy, I think back to things that were like in my childhood and how that has played a part in my life and the correlations, like basically doing my own work,
Mhm.
my own therapy work. Um when it comes to feeling like there was a lack of things in my childhood, that's why as an adult, I don't like to necessarily limit myself when it comes to things. But then that also shows up as overindulgence, right?
Facts.
So
Facts.
when I used to shop, right?
Yeah.
I never like if I always had the mindset, if I want it and I have the means to get it, I'm going to get it,
Whether I need it or not.
whether I need it or not.
And we used to go back and
Because
forth on that all the time.
because I know that growing up, there was always things that like I
Mhm.
wanted, and it was always more so no than it was yes.
Right.
And it was more so no than it was yes because I knew that there was the money thing,
Right.
right? So it's like if the only thing that was stopping me from getting some of the material things that I wanted was money, well, now I have a little bit of money and I can buy the things that I want. So I'm
Right.
going to buy those things, whether I really need them or not. But then that turns into me like creating a habit in my mind that it's justifiable for me to spend, this amount of money on something that I know I only want it because I'm impulse buying it. And now I'm overindulging in it. Right.
Mhm.
So it's like I don't want to push that off onto her, and I know that's what I kind of would do with certain things. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter how much it costs. We're going to make it work.
Yeah.
Like we're going to make the sacrifice because what she's not going to feel the pressure of not being able to do something, participate in something, have something just because we don't have the money for
Right.
it. We are going to find it somewhere. We are going to sacrifice for it. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But I also need her to understand that it's like I need her to understand that yes, you get to participate in things and yes, you get to do things and you get some of the things that you want, but there is a level of gratitude that needs to come with that. There's a level of understanding to know that this is not something you're entitled to.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I just was making that correlation because I always have this thing that I say to myself is I don't want to bleed onto my kids
Right.
or bleed onto my child. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like me not being able to, if I had not recognized that within myself and tried to reel that back in and work through that, that's just me bleeding off on her because I'm trying to heal something within me and I'm doing it through her. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to heal my inner Kinesha, my that little girl, that little 8-year-old. I'm trying to heal her and I'm going to do that by using my daughter.
Right.
And I don't want to do that
Right.
because that's not her burden. That's not her responsibility for me to use her as a tool to heal something within me. And then later on as she gets older, when I don't like what I'm seeing and getting back, now I resent her.
Right.
Now I'm upset with her because I used her as a tool to heal something within me. And now I'm not liking the way it's showing up. And now it's like, I can't stand her. Like by the time she's 10, 11, now I can't stand her.
Right.
Like that's not fair. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I think there is just so much that just goes into, parenting. Obviously it doesn't come with a manual, and I know our parents, they did the best they could at the time with the resources that they had, and I'm totally
I don't know
appreciative.
if you can say it don't come with a manual in these times.
I mean, there's books if that's what you mean, but
There's a lot of
you're
source
dealing
material.
you're dealing with human beings who are unpredictable. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So there is no one shoe that or one
I
size
mean,
that fits all.
I know. I think for both of us, one thing that we're really guilty of is the whole eating out thing. Like this child eats out more
Oh
than
yeah.
I've ever, and it's it's to the point to where she'll say, "Oh no, I want restaurant pancakes." Well, things
That's what she says. Yeah.
I can make you pancakes. No,
I
I
want
want
restaurant
restaurant pancakes,
pancakes.
and it's like,
But I
okay,
honestly, with her, because it's kind of like me, I think she enjoys the going out aspect,
Right,
not necessarily the food, because that's how I am like with movies. Because you're always like, we can watch a movie at home, but it's like it's not just the movie.
right.
I like the part of us getting like together as a family,
Mhm.
getting up, getting in the car, and going to the movies.
Right.
That's what I like. And I think with her, that's the same thing that she likes. She likes the togetherness. She likes us being out because even when we are at home, we'll eat dinner and we eat dinner at the table sometimes.
Yeah,
But
well,
when
most
we
most of
go,
the time.
most of the time, but when we go out, it's like it's
Yeah.
there's nothing else around us to really like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I get that, but what I'm more so speaking to the fact of we didn't have that in our childhood. Like
Right.
you ate what was cooked.
Right.
We're
Right.
not making separate meals. We're not going
Oh
out.
my
You
gosh,
know what I'm
the
saying?
separate meals.
We're not
Like I
doing.
would make separate stuff for her and for you. And I was like, listen, I can't do it anymore.
I told you to stop.
I can't do it
I
anymore.
I told you to stop.
But
Like
it was like, but she needs to eat.
she needs to eat what you're providing.
She needs to eat.
But
Like my baby needs nourishment.
I will say like these last 6 going on 7 years, I think for both of us would agree that it's really just been constant learning, constant
Oh
adapting,
yeah.
constant you like because it's like you implement something and then you see your results slowly in lifetime,
Yeah.
and
And then
it's
plus we only have one kid, right? So we were having this conversation last night, me and the gym moms. And we were having the conversation about like the advantage that some people have of having multiple children, the things that you've seen in your firstborn, when you start to see in your second, you can either correct it or you know what to be worried about
right away.
or what not to be worried about. But from us, since we only have a single child, every experience with her obviously is our first experience with it, and we have to navigate it like a different way. Like there's
Honestly,
always this sense, I feel like for me there's always this sense of urgency with
and,
certain things with her,
and
as opposed to if we had another kid, and now that I've given it some time that she's grown up, I can see like in my second kid, like that's totally normal. Like I don't have to worry about that. But with
I
her,
was just
it's like I
gonna
look at
say
everything and I'm like, Maurice, like we have to fix this. Like I don't know where
honestly,
this is
I
going.
was gonna say if I low key kind of feel sorry for our second kid if they come along
Why?
because it's gonna be like it ain't important. You fine.
Well,
like
but I feel like
like
that's what
like
that's
it's
kind of
not
like what we need.
it's not saying that we're not gonna go just as hard or do just
Right,
as
but
much.
because we have
It's just that we
the
are not
blueprint.
we are not gonna cater to every cry,
Yeah,
every
we
whim. It's
know.
gonna be like, sorry, buddy.
Like you
I'm
will
sorry.
get over it. I promise you.
Unless it's another girl. Because I got her. I can't help it. She's so darn cute.
Phoenix was a really cute baby.
She came from me, of course.
Good damn bye. Good damn bye.
We weren't even supposed to talk about this, but we did.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's just because that's pretty much what's been on my heart. Like I try to explain to you so much. My brain is so
Like
consumed
a scrambled egg.
with with parenting her and like
It
being
sounds
a
like you need to go to
mom,
work.
being that's literally
That's
why
why
I told you like
that's why you
I
be
think
stressing over stuff.
I think I am gonna have to step back out into like the work field or do something because I just feel like it's consumed so much. I mean, it is my life. Like I'm a stay at home mom, so
Yeah.
my life is you, her, and our home, and things that we got to get done as a family. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't want to say that as if I'm complaining or like it's a dread or
You
whatever.
haven't enjoyed being
But
my servant these last 2 years?
good damn bye. I'm not your servant.
I
I
think
am not your
I
servant.
had to say
Girl, I mean, boy, please. Uh-uh.
you don't like being at my every waking demand?
No, but you know what? Here's the thing. This is what I think about. Now, like going down another lane. I feel like once I go back to work,
Oh, it's gonna be different.
you are going to
It's
get
gonna
a
hurt.
shock.
It's gonna hurt.
You are going to get a
It's
shock
gonna hurt.
because the luxuries that you have enjoyed
I'm not gonna have
of
them.
having a stay-at-home
I'm not.
wife
I understand that.
these past four
I
years,
understand that.
you are going to be like, wait, babe, but are you? No, I'm not. I'm not
I'm
doing it.
the one thing.
I have to contribute,
The
sir.
only thing I'm gonna require, what's not gonna change,
What?
and that you've been slipping on,
What?
is my overnight oats.
Oh my.
Cause I'm about to get real unruly in
So
here.
I've been making him overnight oats, and he's been like obsessed with the overnight oats. And I honestly think it's the milk too, because you liked them before, but when I changed the milk,
I
you were like, I don't know what you put in here. He was like, but I am loving it. So I used
don't I thought you had a little bit.
what is
Here.
it? It was okay, the oatmeal too, actually. I got a new oatmeal. It's an organic steel cut
I don't
oatmeal
know
that I
what it
found.
is.
I
Is it
forget the brand,
that
but then I
be hidden?
use the Oatly oat milk,
It
and
be
I use
hidden.
organic raw honey.
It be. It
Which
don't
ones
matter.
which ones you
It
think
don't matter. It don't matter what fruit you put in there. It be. It could. You could probably put kiwi in there to hit. It don't
Oh,
matter
I haven't tried
what you.
kiwi.
I said this. She don't miss.
Bye. She don't miss.
She not missing.
Every morning he would like come downstairs. He gets so excited when he sees that I made him overnight oats for breakfast, and he sits down and he eats, and he just shakes his head,
I was.
and I'm like, "Is it good, babe?
That's it. That's
This is
it.
it.
That's it.
This is it.
This is it.
His overnight oats and his coffee."
That's it. That's
I
all I
mean,
need. Sorry, my diet.
honestly, that will stay because it will help. The more like the reason why I do things like that, like make your overnight oats
Mhm.
and stuff like that, is because I either know that I'm not gonna want to have to get downstairs early enough to
Mhm.
cook breakfast. Um,
Honestly, if you go back to work, the crock pot and the pressure cooker gonna get used more.
Pretty much.
That's
Pretty much.
whoever get home first. Hit the on button.
Right. Right. And then Saturday mornings.
We we at Bear Restaurant.
No. Stop. We're at Bear Restaurant. We're at Bear Restaurant.
Oh, my baby she like Bear Restaurant.
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I guess that was we just went off into like a parenting topic today.
Yeah. Sometimes you parent when you ain't trying to parent.
That is. But I mean it's one of those things that is I feel like it's gonna forever consume me. I
Mm.
don't and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
It should. I think that's just a sign of a good parent.
I've been told that before. I had a mom tell me that. A mom told me, she was like, the fact that you feel that you have to be so involved and you try to stay close and like pay attention to her personality changes and things like that, it just means that you're a good involved mom.
Mhm.
And I was like, but sometimes I feel like I know I can go overboard. Let's not I know that I can go
Say it
overboard.
again for the people
I
in the back.
know that
One
I
more
am
time for the people in the back.
I know that I am
Yeah.
too much for
Play
my
it slowly for the people in the back.
okay, I know this. Like
You be doing too much.
for instance, yesterday she brought me her report card. I mean, not her report card, her which she got a great report card by the way. But she brought me her spelling test, right? And she brought home a perfect spelling test. She got the bonus word right. She got all 10 of her spelling words right. She got both of her sentences right. She used her what is it called? What's the actual word for it? But anyway, like all of
For pronunciation?
her
I mean, her.
pronunciations, you know what I mean. Her sentences were perfect. She used her question marks. She used the commas in
Yeah,
the right
pronunciation.
place, like everything, right? And like I was really impressed by the fact that she used a comma in the right place. Like let's not talk about that.
Because you
But
don't do that.
we've already talked about how sometimes I underestimate her. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
she was so proud. She was like, "Mom," she was like, "Look at this," and I was like, "Phoenix, this is quite literally a perfect spelling test. Like the teacher had no marks on there but a star." And I was just thinking back to when, what was it, like 3 weeks ago,
She had that
her
terrible.
spelling test, and she got a 7 out of 10. And I remember my reaction because she always brings home 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. The only thing that's a little that she gets more docked in points is like her sentences because she's learning how to write like complete sentences and stuff. So that's kind of like what I expect a little bit. But on the spelling test, she brought home a 7 out of 10. And I just remember thinking, like, what is this? And the look on her face, like she looked at me. She looked at me
But
because
I'm
she
okay with
knew.
that though.
I
I'm okay
know
with that.
part of me is
No,
okay with
I'm
it, and
okay
part
with
of me
that.
is like,
When it comes to
damn, am I
school,
putting too much pressure on her?
no,
Because my
you're not.
sister's friend, hold on, my sister's friend was over, and the test was left out on the table, right? And she was like, "Oh, this is Phoenix's spelling test," and she was like, "Oh, this is good. She got a 7 out of 10." And immediately, I was like, "That is not a
Well,
good spelling test." And she was like, "What do you mean?" She was
no,
like, "She's six, Kainisha." And I was like, "No." And I quite literally went to the refrigerator and I got the pack of her spelling test and I was showing her. I was like, "No, these are the spelling tests that
this
Phoenix
is the
brings home." And so
expectation.
she was looking at me
We
and she was
expect
like,
him.
she was like, "Girl, you need to chill out."
No, it's
And I
not.
was like, and part of me was
No, you
like, "Well,
don't.
damn." am I going too hard
No,
when it comes to certain
no,
things with her? But
no,
it's
you're
like I
not.
don't want her to think like, okay, yes, you bring home a 7 out of 10. It's not your normal. But I was like, Phoenix, what happened? I was like 7 out of 10, babe. Like that's a C.
This is my thing.
Happened.
This is my thing. Regardless of whether other parents agree or not, excellence is the expectation.
I know, but I don't want
Now
to
we're
put so
not.
much pressure
Hold on,
on her
hold on, hold on. Now we're not going to fault you if you come up short.
sometimes.
We're just going to put in a plan that you don't fall up short again.
Right. Right. Cause she
So we're
so
not going to
reward.
reward anything below excellence.
So, like for instance, she was working on her math, right? And I was losing patience fast because we were working on greater than, less than, or equal to. And I was asking her, I was like, Phoenix, is 58 greater than, less than, or equal to 60? And she said, greater than. And I said, Phoenix, look at the two numbers. I pulled out a number chart and I was like, which number comes first, 58 or 60? And she was like, 58. And I said, are the numbers getting bigger past 60 or the numbers getting smaller past 60? She was like, bigger. So I said, so is 58 greater than, less than, or equal to 60? She said, looked me square in my face. She said, it's greater than, mommy. I said, and I could feel the fire in my chest. I was like, I don't know. And I think what really got me is we had did 2 pages of greater than, less than, and equal to. So at this point, I thought she was just effing with me. I was like, we have been sitting here doing this math for 30 minutes and you have been doing what you need to do. Now you want to act like you getting hung up on 58 being less than 60?
Mm.
Like and so in my mind, like when I tell you, Maurice, I have to do mental gymnastics. I literally have to I have you don't understand because you're not the one sitting down doing all this stuff. I have to tell my brain, you're thinking with a 37-year-old brain. She's
And they
thinking with a 6-year-old
and
brain.
they're learning
You
stuff
and they're
completely,
learning something different and they're learning like all this is still new to her.
but they're learning it in a different way than what
We
we
did.
learned it.
Yeah, because even the wording, like sometimes
Yeah.
her homework, she'll bring her homework home and it's the way these things are worded and I'm like, it's not even that difficult. And so when I try to show her my way, then we get into the headbutting because then she goes, no, 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 no. That's not how Miss Martin said to do it. She said to do it like, and I'm like, I know that's how she said to
And
do
she's
it, and I know that's how you're learning
and,
it, but mommy is trying to teach you.
and she's very much in this
She follows
the way I was taught is the only
it's
way
the
it
only way
can
it
be
can
done.
be.
Yeah.
That's the way like if somebody tells her like even if we tell her something that's like a structure or an order of operation of something, she will depending on what it is, like she will stick to it. Like she's going to stick to it when it comes to rules and stuff, especially Phoenix is a rule follower. She will follow a rule or her favorite is enforcing it upon other people.
Hmm.
That is her favorite. Her favorite is enforcing the rules upon others. But I was like, okay, let me calm down because if she genuinely doesn't understand that 58 is less than 60, then maybe my approach needs to be different. Maybe we need to step away for 5 minutes.
Hmm.
But I'm doing all this in my head so that I don't come off as I'm judging her
Hmm.
because then she also feels that. She feels when I'm like, seriously, Phoenix? Like if I was to tell her seriously, she'll look at me like, okay, it's wrong and I don't know why it's wrong. And then her brain shuts down. Then I can't have the conversation with her as to why 58 is less than 60 or come up with a different way for her to like see it.
Hmm.
But boy, when I tell you the mental gymnastics that I have to go through to regulate myself sometimes,
Mm.
I'd be like, if you weren't my child, I would send you home crying, probably. Because
Okay, let's get into it now. Because now you're talking about making my child cry.
we're my
Let's
child.
get into it. What else? Let's get into it. Let's get into our 2 cents
Okay. Yes. Okay.
because we
Our
probably
two
got
things.
time for one.
No, I think we have time for more. Okay, so we're gonna just hop right into our 2 cents. Okay. Now I don't know. See, let's see. Let's see which one. Okay, let's go into this one. This one is my fundamentalist Christian parents is telling my wife not to reconcile.
Mm.
My wife and I were married for 2 years. During that time, I had to open up our marriage. My wife agreed but kept acting jealous. This led to me filing for divorce. Throughout my 6 months separated, I gained a greater appreciation for my lovely wife. Modern day dating is disgusting, even if you date overseas. A lot of women will pretend to like you for money. It's honestly disgusting. I didn't have to worry about that with my wife because she makes around the same as me, if not slightly more. Last week, I realized the love we had is special and I decided to attempt to reconcile. She agreed, but unfortunately, my Christian fundamentalist parents are trying to undermine me. They're trying to convince her not to go through with it. My parents even told her, quote, "We love our son, but he's not a good husband." I expect this from her parents, but my own parents? When I told my parents to stop meddling in my relationship, they blocked me.
Cold business.
I had to call using a no caller ID just to speak to my dad and my mom, and this is disgusting. Any advice?
Not mom and dad blocking you though.
That's because mom and dad knows the real. And
Let me say this.
go
Let
ahead.
me say this because I always go first anyway. What it sound like to me is, yeah, what it sounds like to me is you were married. Um, the honeymoon phase calmed down.
Uh huh.
Things
You got
got
bored.
you got bored. Things got
Mm-hmm.
you got ordinary,
Got vanilla.
right? And so you thought, hey, let me open it up,
But it's the fact
right?
that he said, I had to
Right,
open up the
right.
marriage.
So it sounded like you probably didn't have no conversations, right? So then you open it up, then you realize
This ain't what I wanted.
you didn't- there's nothing better out there,
He realized that the grass was
right?
not greener on the other
Yeah,
side.
you essentially realize that
Mhm.
there's nothing better out there. So then you
Yep.
go. So now you're back at your wife,
And
back
all of a sudden, she's the best love you ever had.
best thing you ever had
Hmm.
because all these women out here only want to use me.
Yep.
But so it's like again, you couldn't see what you had until you lost it,
Yep.
and now you're like. It sounds like to me your parents are great people because they're warning her
And they're your
our
parents, so
son
they
is
know our son
trash.
is not it, boo. They knew that when she agreed to marry you the first time, they probably gave her
Right.
warnings then. They probably said, you know what, we think you're a great young lady. In lack of
Right.
better words, they probably said our son is trash. But we love him and we hoped that he could be the husband that you are looking for. We're a little doubtful, but we hope that he can be.
The fact
And
that
then when he showed that he could not be, they was like, I'll be damned if we let her do this twice.
you literally had a woman that would allow you to
Open
open the
after two
marriage
months.
after 2 years, right?
Well, I thought it was 2 months. Oh, they were married for two
Yeah,
years.
right.
Okay,
That will allow you
two
to
years.
open the marriage
Two
to
years.
try to satisfy you, and then you just walk away from that because
Because
wow,
why?
wow. And this is why I feel like people make such a mockery of marriage
Yep.
because you don't want to do the work. I'm not happy. Things are not what I want it to be, and so I'm just gonna go find something better.
And then only to realize that
It's nothing better.
once you think you found something
Right.
better, you realize that it wasn't better and
Now
you just want home.
I'm not saying that's the situation for all marriages
Oh no, 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 no.
because some
Granted.
marriages can't be reconciled.
Yeah.
Some you're just
Some
at
you just need to
you're
be,
just at
yeah.
what's in. You
You've
know,
put in your time, you both have
it's
done what you
you
needed to
guys are
do.
apples and oranges and shouldn't be in the
And
same building.
yeah, yeah. It's time to just live
Yeah,
life for yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So okay, here's another.
So one more, right? Two
Yeah.
more.
All right. How many of you have access to your husband's or your boyfriend's bank accounts?
I don't have a husband or a boyfriend.
My 30-year-old boyfriend and I have been together for 10 years, and he will not allow me access to his bank account. He said that he doesn't need me bitching about money when we're low on funds, and also added that I don't even contribute any money anyway since I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm livid, and to be honest, I feel like this might be financial abuse. Advice.
I got a couple of different ways as well.
Oh gosh, here we
Right.
go.
First
What?
things, first things first. Before you were a stay-at-home mom, what were the arrangements? Did you have your own bank account, or were you guys pulling and you just couldn't see what was in the bank account? I
Okay.
need context, right?
Okay, that's
Right.
fair. That's fair.
Second thing is, to me, this is no different from when women have their emergency fund.
Uh,
It's no different because this is why I say it's no
I
different.
think it's different.
This is why I say it's no difference. She probably has an idea of what he makes, and that's it. She don't know what's saved. She don't know what's sitting over there. None of that. Now, granted, that stuff can be subpoenaed and all that stuff, but he's probably thinking, in case this goes left, I can kind of protect myself a little bit and not have to pay out as much because she won't have access to the records of history of incomes, investments, and stuff like that. I'm not saying either way is right, but to me, it's no different because in the same thing, like in the case where the woman had the emergency fund, that's a fund that most of the time the husband don't know about. So it's no different. She knows that there's a bank account. She knows that her husband gives her money, and she knows her husband pays the bills. That's all she knows.
Yeah, but
But
that's the
she
bank account that they're so I think the difference between like an emergency fund or a rainy day fund that most women have, that's not money that we're paying bills out of. That's literally money that just kind of sits there.
right.
She's talking about having access to the bank account in which she like if she has a debit card too, she goes to the grocery store and uses to buy household goods to take care of their family, things like that. So in her realm of thinking, she's most likely thinking like, okay, yes, you make the money and I stay home with our children, but I feel like I should still have access to the money because for me, what I gather from here is she could have a debit card or he could probably give her like a monthly allowance, right?
Mhm.
And maybe there was a conversation about, hey, I need more money on the monthly allowance because it's not going as far as it needs to go. And he's probably telling her, like, okay, well, that's all I can fork over right now. And she's like, I want to see what's in the bank account. So it could be two
And she
things.
has
Maybe it's his way of like saving, right? Because he knows that if she does see
right.
the money that's in the bank account, now you're gonna think we have all this money
Yeah, because
and we
maybe
don't we only have this money because of how I've been
that's why
managing the
that's
money.
why I'm saying we need context
Or
because he may be a saver and she may be a
a
spender,
spender,
and she
right?
and he don't want her to see exactly how much is there because he knows that car finna fly off the rails.
Right. Or it can be just something where it's a comfort thing as well. Like I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I
So
don't know if
context.
you're paying all the other bills. I want to see the bank account so I can see how you're spending our money.
So we need context.
But the fact that he says that you don't need to see it because you don't even contribute to it further lets me know he also has the mentality of it's not our money. It is my money that I
I don't
make.
have a problem with that.
You don't have a problem with what?
What he said
What?
because I believe in the equality.
Maurice,
Old girl
stop.
said, old girl was literally a stay-at-home wife,
So you
taking
don't
taking money out the joint account and putting it in her own
what are
personal
you
account.
talking about?
I'm talking about the
Okay,
chicken,
you're talking about a whole like no, but you're talking about a whole different other
but
scenario.
right.
Okay, so he's talking about what was this, a story we had read in one of our marriage groups?
It was one of those. It was a video from TikTok, I believe. But
Okay, so
but it was going around.
long story short, there was a video, an article, or whatever of a woman who had essentially saved to the sum of like what was it, like 75,000 or something
It
like
was
that.
it was
It
some.
was a very large amount of money, but what she was doing was she was taking money out of her and her husband's like joint personal accounts, and she would just put like $900 a month into her
Over
own
the course
over
of
the
like
course of like a few years.
yeah,
She was taking $900 a month and she was just moving it to an account where she was just
and
fine.
she said
And so
he
when
hold on. What killed me is that she said, in my defense, when time got hard, I lowered the amount to $200.
right, but what she was asking was she wrong for cuz her husband had came to her and said that he was struggling a little bit with trying to keep up with the
Maintain
bills
everything.
and maintain the bills because his check didn't seem like it was going as far as it usually goes. Granted, he didn't know that his wife was also removing $900 in a separate bank account. But anyway, she was saying, was she wrong for not telling him that she had like 75 G's saved up that she could help him with on the bills, even though that was technically
His
the money
money.
he made for them to, go and do. So in that case, I think that's completely different. That's
To
that's
you,
a little
but to
different.
you is.
But I
But
do
here's the thing.
see I do
Here's the
see the
thing.
correlation, but it is
If
different.
that's her exit strategy that she had, maybe him not. Maybe in this situation, the
He
wife
has
is
an
removing.
exit strategy.
That's his exit strategy. So, like I said last week, a story has duality.
Don't start.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
There's two sides, so we need context.
This has been another episode of Life After I Do podcast.
Do do do
If
do.
you're not already following us on our social media platforms, you can follow us on Facebook.
Maybe
You
not
can
TikTok.
follow us. I know. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and hopefully still TikTok. Um, hopefully still TikTok. At Life After I Do podcast. You can also write into us at lifeafteridopodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions or anything like that you want to talk about, you can write it anonymous if you would like our advice on something. If not, until then, you'll get another episode every Wednesday. And
Just
until
remember, without good there is
oh
no
my
evil.
gosh.
So evil is necessary.
You guys, please go
And
watch Vampire in
therefore,
Brooklyn because
if
it's
evil
good.
is necessary, it must be good. Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.